One of the best ways of booking guests directly is to create and send them quotes. We call this the quote acceptance process. And what it means is you're creating a quote that you can email to them or provide them a link. They then use that to see the charges, select add-ons, provide their point of contact information, sign a renter agreement, submit payment, and then confirm. So it leads them basically through a number of pages and steps to book, and it does this all online in a secure environment. You can of course also create bookings manually in OwnerRez, but using the quote process typically is the best way of booking guests directly. Today let's take a look at how to do that. Here we've got a calendar open with nothing on it. You can either click the Create Quote button here at the top, or you can click on a day and property directly to start the same quote process but from that point. Let's pick the Bear Valley property, March 10th, and we see that Bear Valley is now filled in. The start date is March 10th. I can pick an end date of a couple of days further. By default, it will select 2 days. As I select days and fill in the number of guests, children, pets, it will show a quote in line right here in this box so you can see what the charges would be. We could also create a booking from this directly, but for purposes of this video, we're looking at just creating and sending a quote. It then moves us over to a full page view where we need to enter a guest's name. So if you have someone on the phone or you're talking to someone in person, this is where you would ask them for their name or email address. As we type, OwnerRez will show you any guests in the system that are already named with this name, Sandy Smith. If there isn't a guest by this name, it will give you an option to add that guest right here in line. I'll go ahead and click that and fill in an email address for Sandy and a phone number. These fields are optional. You can always add them later. Let's go ahead and save the quote. And there we have the new quote. By default, OwnerRez filled in the same charges that we saw previously. And you can see on the overview page of the quote, the party size, when it expires, and the other information that we just entered. If you need to change some of that info, you can do that on the Info tab or by changing the dates. If you want to add a discount to this quote before sending it to Sandy, we can do that right here. I'll go ahead and add a discount to the rent of 15%. You can enter percents directly in the charge line items. You can also put negatives. As you type, it will show you the amount that is. Any percent calculates on the line items that are above it. We'll go ahead and save that. Now we need to actually send the quote to Sandy. We can do that by using this Send tab under the quote. It will open a email form with all the information filled in by default based on an email template in the system. This email template can be overhauled to a different default message or set of fields. For now, we'll go ahead and use this email template. We can also just provide Sandy a link. Perhaps we're texting or messaging the person on Facebook, or we're going to send them the link directly and we don't need to actually send an email. To do that, just click this Payment Form tab here. When we do that, OwnerRez will open the quote and show you what the guest sees online. This is the type of form the guest will see on their side, whether they get an email or whether they click a link. We call this the guest form. The top header of the form can be customized with your own logo or content. Underneath that, the guest will see their name and party size, the charges, some questions about travel insurance, what they're going to pay and when, and also your payment methods that are available at the bottom. It's important to understand that many parts of this form can be customized and personalized based on your settings. So if you require 50% due upfront, like this quote does, then you'll notice that of this $1,000 total, it shows that $503 is due right now. This again is based on 50% due upfront. Notice it's saying also that the second payment is due January 9th, which is 60 days before arrival. Again, these are all based on your property settings. Same with the payment methods down below. If you have credit card processing set up in OwnerRez, we show those credit card options here. If you allow payment by check, we show that option here. Most of what you see here can be customized. You can also add on options in the quote here. For purposes of this demo, I'll continue booking this quote so you can see how the next couple of pages look. Let's assume the guest selects that they don't want travel insurance and then continues the booking process. The next page they'll see is this point of contact page. It'll ask for their name, phone number, address. It will fill in some of the parts for them that you already knew and entered on the quote. We'll go ahead and enter a fake address and continue to the next page. At this point, it will show the renter agreement that is set for this particular quote and property in your OwnerRez settings. There's a lot of customization and personalization that can be done for these renter agreements, but for now we'll go ahead and use this one that is here. The guest can read the agreement that's personalized for their name and then is asked to sign at the bottom. They'll move to the next page, which is asking for payment. We'll click to accept the renter agreement so that we can submit payment. On the payment page, it shows the payment methods that you have integrated and configured in your OwnerRez account. For instance, you might allow checks by mail. If the guest selects this option, it'll show them how much to make the check out for, who to make it out to, and where to send it. For now, we'll go ahead and move forward with credit card information. The final page is the confirmation page. This shows the guest, again, the payment summary of what they will pay and when it is due. If they purchase travel insurance, that will show in this area as well, along with a few other things. Below that, it shows them their billing details, gives them links where they can go back and correct those details if they need to, and then again shows them the final charges. At this point, the only thing left for the guest to do is to click Confirm and Finalize. The system will instantly take payment, prepare their renter agreement signature, and store that to be archived, and a number of other things. Back in OwnerRez, the new booking comes in, the guest's information is recorded, the charges are in place, the credit card payment that was taken is shown along with what their balance is that is still owed. A future scheduled payment for 60 days before arrival is put in place along with a scheduled security deposit. The legal agreement they signed is stamped with their signature and is archived in the background. Once archived, you get a copy of the PDF and so does the guest. And a number of other things also happen. Door codes are generated. The guest is sent a number of emails. Housekeepers and third parties like owners are also emailed. You can see the list of emails going out as actions happen. These emails, like everything else, can be heavily customized and configured based on your settings. This is the quote acceptance process from one end to the other. You can certainly create bookings yourself and add charges and add credit card transactions and request legal agreements, but the quote acceptance process allows you to send the guest a quote and then allows the system to walk them through asking for that information so that everything that is needed for their stay is taken care of at one time before allowing them to book.